Alright, day number 2 in Dublin. Jet lag is taking me out. Wasn't able to fall asleep till like 1 because my body was like, it's the middle of the afternoon, why are we trying to go to sleep? But once I fell asleep, I slept great. I just feel like I should still be asleep. I had a muffin and a cup of tea, used someone else's kettle, but I really don't care. About to march my ass down to the academic registry because they ain't processed any of my shit and I need it done by Monday morning so I can go to orientation. Yay! Yep, that's about it. I put makeup on to make myself feel like I'm awake, but I'm not. But you know, started off strong today with some Jesus time and then a cup of tea, so hopefully everything goes well. I don't think it's gonna rain today, but you never know, so I'm gonna wear a light rain jacket. But I'm gonna go after academic registry, buy a bus card. I ordered a long-term one, so I'm gonna buy like a 3-day pass, and then get pots and pans and groceries so I can cook food, and maybe that'll help me want to eat because I haven't wanted to eat in 2 days. So yeah, I'll try to find a way to edit all my videos together for you guys and take some photos from the street. I think I got out around a little earlier yesterday, but I'm struggling. I'm so tired still. I'm jet lagged. And like, I'm not hungry. Every time I sit down to eat, I'm just not hungry. I can't eat. So I'm gonna go buy myself brunch, because then I feel like if I buy a meal like that, because I've only been getting like meal deals from the shop, if I go sit down to brunch, I feel like I have to eat. So I'm gonna go have some Jesus time at a cafe down the street. And then I'm gonna go to the National Gallery. It's Saturday, so it's like everything I need to do for my life to proceed is on pause because I need to be at like the academic registry and the banks and stuff, and they're all closed. So yeah, I'm gonna go see some pretty pictures and walk around. Oh, I need to buy an umbrella. I forgot to do that. And it's supposed to rain this afternoon. That is about it. Sorry, I'm looking at a coffee shop across the street. I'm trying to decide if I want to go there or to one down the block. Anyways, I might take some videos or pictures when I'm out, and I'll put those in the vlog. But I'm just excited for church tomorrow. I think I'm going to take a cab to get there so I can see how far it is, because it's outside of my neighborhood. And yeah, I'm super excited for church. It's a really cool, it's Baptist church because that's my only option unless I want to go to a Catholic one. There's 3 non-Catholic churches that I could find that weren't like super liberal crazy. Like one church I found, it didn't even mention God on their website. I kid you not, I didn't mention him at all, or Jesus, or the Gospels. So I was like, not going there. This is the closest church I can find that holds to the Bible. That's not Catholic. And nothing to hate on the Catholics. I just want to go to Protestant church. The walking distance, 40-minute walk, so I'm going to try and do a cab there because I don't have a bus pass yet. I got these from a Mexican market I found. Some black beans, refried beans, some Spanish rice. I brought all my own seasonings. And then like stir-fried kind of chicken with peppers. I found hot peppers at the Mexican market, and onion and tomato. And I found tortillas at the Mexican market. I'm reading about politics. Here's the kitchen, my one pot that did it all the work. I kid you guys not, that pot, it took me like an hour to cook because I cooked the meat. And then the rice took forever because the rice here cooks weird. I could only find parboiled rice. And then, yeah, I did the meat and then the rice, and then I heat the meat back up because it's cold in here, and I couldn't figure out how to turn the heater on. And the meat got cold, so I had to heat it back up, and then I heated the beans up and then the tortillas. Unfortunately, it's an electric stove, and it's called a hob here, and it took me like 15 minutes to figure out how to turn it on and work it. I'm so ashamed. I had to use ChatGPT. I'm a clanker. Morning, ladies. That glare is really bad. I'm getting ready to go to church. Here's the fit. Olive wood cross from Israel. Thrifted, gifted. Hopefully this church is cool. I looked up a lot, and this is the best one, and it's a 40-minute walk, but it's kind of drizzly. It's not raining currently, but it's supposed to rain, so I'm gonna catch a cab in a few minutes because I don't have a bus pass. I'll check in after though and tell you guys how it was. Hopefully it's not crazy. Alright, I got it? Okay, so recap. I did take a couple videos, which I don't know whether they'll be in the limit or in the arrangement of things on the video. Yeah, so today is Sunday, and I just got back from church about an hour ago. It was really nice. I took a cab there, and the cabbie was really funny, actually. We had a conversation. It was about a 12-minute drive, and we chatted the whole time about the weather and pretty much how hot it is in California and how lucky I am to live here, according to him. And then we chatted. He asked about what I do, and I told him about ABA, and he asked about my history in it, and I told him, well, I started with training rats. And he was laughing so hard, I thought he was going to have to pull over. He kept going, well, I mean, training rats, and now you're training children, and he couldn't get over it. And, he laughed about that for a good, 5 minutes, and, that was it till we got to the church. It was just him laughing about that. He also was a little surprised, I think, that I was going to church. We kept calling it Mass, even though I told him it was a Baptist church. He kept calling it Mass. And we talked a little bit about that. It was interesting. The church is beautiful. I'll see if I can put in a picture of it. Yeah, it's a beautiful, old style, kind of just post-Gothic. I forget what that type of architecture is called, but just post-Gothic church made of stone. Different than the Baptist church I'm used to, definitely. They had an organ playing. I guess I do go to an independent Baptist church, so they're a little bit more pizzazzy. My home Baptist church doesn't follow all the same traditions, I guess. It was lovely though. The people I met are lovely. I didn't get to talk to very many because I just wasn't feeling good again. But I sat next to a Romanian woman and then another woman from Ireland, and I chatted to them for a few minutes. And then they told me that there's an American student she runs a student's Bible study, and I should get in contact with her. But I'm going to do that next week because this week was actually their church runs on a schedule, they have their own church calendar, I guess they follow, and today was the start of a new church year for them. So it was really cool because I got to hear, instead of giving a traditional sermon, they talked about serving the church, and they read the first 2 chapters of Nehemiah, and we talked about those and Nehemiah's call to wanting to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, which was really cool, and how he did things he cared about the people of Jerusalem, he prayed to God, and he acted on God's will, and how to apply that to the church here. And then they went over a bunch of their different ministries, the missionaries they support, and all the kinds of stuff that their church is involved with. So it's cool because I got to see that side of things. I mean, it was a great first Sunday to be there so I could see how the church functions, and I love it. They're starting up home groups again in a week or two, so hopefully I can get into one of those. It was a lovely time, but I did leave just after service in Europe. They give tea and coffee. I did leave before they were handing that out. I also needed to get back to my apartment by 1 because I had to send an email as soon as it was available. It was like, it's this thing for registration. Anyways, I did on my way back. So I walked back and it started raining, and I don't mind being damp at all, especially because I wore like 2 layers of socks knowing it could rain, so my feet stayed warm. I do need to invest in an umbrella. I said earlier I was going to buy that, and I still haven't. And I have a little thin water slicker, or rain slicker, and it did not cut it today. Because it's always just kind of drizzly, but it like actually was raining, and I got a little wet, and you can see I'm still a little damp. I stopped by this cafe. It's across the street from me, actually. It's called Flower and Bean, and is really good. It looks like it's run by a Ukrainian family, but it's like super vibey. It reminds me of Orange County. And they had rules, like you're not allowed to have laptops or tablets out. They ask you to minimize being on your phone, and they have tons of board games and books and things, and no Wi-Fi available or anything. They tell you like it's a place to come and socialize. So it's really cool. I stopped in and got some food and a chai, and then I came back here and I ate that while I was doing some stuff on my laptop because I didn't want to do it there. Yeah, so that's about it. Friday. Oh yeah, I didn't give updates. Friday, I fought for my life with the academic registrars. Turns out they gave me the wrong forms to fill out, and that's why I'm having all these issues. Everything should be done by the end of next week, though. Praise the Lord. And the girl who was working with me, she had patience. And then after that, I went shopping again, and I got stuff for my kitchen. So I got pots and pans and dishes, and I still need to go buy some things. I need to get a sheet pan so I can cook in the oven, and I need to get a cutting board and dish towels and maybe dish soap. I think I'm using someone else's soap and stuff. I'm not sure. So there's a kettle in the kitchen, and I don't know if it belongs to anyone. And I used it a couple times, but then I couldn't figure out how to get the lid open to put more water in. So I'm just using my pot. And then yesterday I went out and I walked like 6 miles. I said, we're walking today. I went to St. Pat's Cathedral and walked those grounds. I walked the grounds of New Church, and then I walked St. Stephen's Green and the National Gallery and Temple Bar, and then I also went back to the market, Trinity as well. All of this is like within the same area in the city, so it's easy, but it was just a lot of walking, and I'm still trying to figure out my way around, so there's a lot of zigzagging and wandering around. And then I took a detour home because I decided to go back home without a map. So I did get here though without ever having to open up a map, because I could see at the end of Cork Street, you can see the top of St. Pat's Cathedral, and it's like a 15 minute walk from me. So as soon as I found that, I was able to get myself back to my apartment. Yeah, it's lovely. The neighborhood, so say if I live here, Trinity's this way, my church is this way. So then today, walking back from church, I got to see more of like the residential neighborhoods, not the apartments and student stuff. And that was really cool. And I got to meet this lady in the neighborhood, and I pet her dog. And that was like the highlight. And then, yeah, today I also have been trying to be social. I haven't really met many people yet. So I'm on the group chat with all the American Post grads, and I texted this one girl. Well, first I put in the whole group chat. I said, is anyone living in the same student housing or area? So like off of my street. And one woman replied, and then we chatted for a bit on social media, and then I asked if she wanted to get coffee tomorrow morning before orientation, and she hasn't replied. And then the other woman I've been texting, she's actually in my program, and I've been messaging her for a long time. I think we're both going to orientation together tomorrow, so we don't have to be at the same orientations, because they have like this like same things repeated almost every day. So you just choose which day you want to go. And I think she's going tomorrow as well to the general and then the international students one. So I asked if she wanted to meet up once we're there because we're in the same program, and then maybe we'll go get lunch or something together. So that's the updates. Nothing too exciting. It's been fun. I'm surprised I haven't really gotten lonely yet, considering I haven't talked to very many people. This girl at the grocery store yesterday, the cashier, she asked if I had just moved in because of the types of groceries I was buying, and it's over in the student housing, and I said yes, and she goes, "Are you from America?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm from California," and she goes, "Lots to do in that country. I've always wanted to go to Texas." And I was like, "Yeah, you could go to Texas." And she goes, "I want to go to what they call the Panhandle." And I was like, I guess you could go. You could go to New York, which might be more exciting, or to LA or Seattle. But she's got her dreams. Yep. Everyone I meet is very nice. I haven't met very many people in my apartment. Don't they seem nice, but I just haven't really talked to them. I don't see them. I keep hanging out in the kitchen and no one's there. It's like a kitchen in my living room. No one's ever there. I was going to talk about, this is going to be a really long vlog. So, now that I'm here, I'm getting a lot more of like stuff you see on the European social media. And I was exposed to this movement kind of that's going on. And I'm not sure if there's like an official name for it. I need to research it more, but it's like #WakeUpEurope, and then European Unity, European Pride, and Patriotism. So like those are the 3 names it's kind of going by, and it's very much about having pride in your nation, and Europe being European as a whole, and kind of anti-immigrant. So I was looking at a lot of that in Dublin. So, for example, next week there's a march going on in London that's anti-immigration and pro-European, and they're advertising it here in Dublin because it's not just for the UK, it's for Europe as a whole. And people will probably be flying out to London to go march. And it's all peaceful protests. That's the thing I've noticed, because I've been trying to find out about it from like all the different political sides and stuff. It's very peaceful, these marches and protests that are happening. And they're very much, it's against the fact that they're letting in so many immigrants and refugees, that they're taking over their cities. And like this one guy I saw on social media, I was going through his stuff, and I think he's from Scotland, and he goes and he plays the bagpipes, playing traditional songs in locations where refugees and immigrants have torn down or destroyed things that are of cultural significance. So he went to a church that had to close its doors because refugees took it over and are actually living there, and was playing the bagpipes, and then he got run out. And then he went to another place that was just rubble, like it had been destroyed, and it would have been like a monument and a little building, I think, and it just looked like a field of trash. And he was playing his bagpipes there, talking about how the refugees had come, they'd been stationed there to pretty much ruin the area, and then they left and moved on to another area. And it's really interesting. And I don't know how it is for everywhere else, but here in Dublin it seems a bit divided, and you'll see a lot of like, in the city center, it's a bit more accepting from what I've noticed. And they're like, you go to certain places where it's like, oh, we accept people from Pakistan, or like, we are tolerant of these people. But then you'll also see businesses, like I'd say businesses aren't discriminatory, but you'll like, if you're walking around the residential areas that aren't student housing, you'll notice like Irish flags or European Union flags hanging from the windows. And that's a really big thing in this movement that I'm reading about, is hanging the flags of your nation and the European Union. And this whole movement is really about solidifying Europe and honoring its culture and not letting it lose its culture from this immigration. Like, because it's not anti-letting immigrants in, it's letting them in, I think, and overtaking your culture. They want to slow down immigration too, not just refugees, but immigration as a whole. It's really fascinating. I'm trying to look into it more and learn more about it. I haven't I want to meet some people here, like some people native to Ireland, and see what their thoughts are on it. I've just seen it from social media and reading on the news. Yeah. On that note, national anthems. Okay, I've done 4 more in the segment of 196 anthems reviewed and ranked by Clara Jane. So we're on the next 4 alphabetically. We did Afghanistan, and now we are on Albania. Validity, I gave it like an 8. The scores are kind of high right now. We'll see if I mellow out. It was pretty good music. I gave it like a 5 for style. I feel like it was just kind of bland. Draw was a 6 once again. I don't know if I'd visit the country. Like, I'm probably more likely than not. So I give it a 6. So that was a total of 19, outranking Afghanistan at 17.9. Next is Algeria, which I gave an 8 as well for validity and how good it sounded. Style, I gave 7 because it was a bit more unique than the other one I had listened to from Albania. And I feel like I don't know a lot about this area of the world, but from classical composers I've listened to that are from this area, Algeria sounded similar to that and not just so blandly Europe. Draw, I gave it a 9, so a total of 24 points because it was a bop. I would visit. Now, here's things get fun. Andorra. I give it validity a 9. The style was pretty unique, so I give it an 8. Draw, 10 out of 10 for 27 points total. This is the highest ranked one. And the name for this one is the only one that isn't just called the national anthem of this country. I guess maybe it's the full name of Andorra, is the Principality of Andorra. This music, it was given Principality of Andorra. I don't know how to explain it, but it was given that. And it sounded like a movie. It sounded like movie music. Like, I stepped into a movie scene. Like, if I went to Andorra, I'm pretty sure I'd get off the plane and that song would play. And the last one I did today was Angola. This one I gave like a 6. It could just, musically, maybe it just isn't my vibe. I don't know. It just repeated like the same thing over and over and over again in different keys. The style, once again, a 5. This one was just a little bland, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And the draw was like an 8. So it was a total of 19, tied with Albania. But here's the thing. It sounded like a musical. Like, if I showed up there and this song was playing, everyone would jump into dance and singing. So that's why I gave it a 5 on style, because I feel like you'd go to a Broadway musical and you'd hear it. But the draw was an 8, because if I hear this and I think I go to Angola and this song plays, I better see people singing and dancing. Anyways, that's my update from my first 3 days. Today's my 3rd full day. So 3.5 days, because I got here in a half on Thursday. That's my update. I hope you guys enjoy it and this isn't too terribly long. I'm going to go edit it now. And yeah, I miss you all very much. I miss everybody. I hope you watch this. I'm sending you links too, because this is going to the girls and Jessica. Yeah. Okay, love you. Bye.